Hey everyone, this is Brent from Wolf on Wall Street Trade, and I'm going to cover the market for the week ending September 13th and then what we're kind of expecting next week. There's a lot on the plate, but to even understand this last week, there's something we have to cover first. The market ended off last week like this. The question I had at that point was simply, is the stop run going to turn into a head fake and come back down or sustain? That was a pretty simple question coming into this past week. It became the least relevant aspect. And moving forward, the S&P gained just shy of 1% on the week. So here it is, peaceful on the surface, but below there was like an underwater landslide. You can best see it in the relative performance of small caps versus the NASDAQ. So small caps were up almost 5% on the week. NASDAQ was up 0.5%. So small caps were up 10 times what the NASDAQ was. That's normally a very, very bullish thing. I love when small caps lead the market. There is a dynamic we need to explore, and that is the 2019 Quant Quake. That is what we had this past week. Quant stands for quantitative. These can be quantitative funds, quantitative strategies. They use computer models to generate returns. Typically, there's two different factors, a macroeconomic and style factors. For the sake of the example, let's say a macroeconomic factor may be that growth and inflation are moving from trending down to starting to accelerate up on a year-over-year rate of change basis. You might move into some sectors that benefit from that, like industrials. Now, the style factors would dig down into that sector and look at different styles and try to capitalize on that. So some of those would include value, size, momentum, quality, volatility, but the two biggest are momentum and value. Here's momentum and value normalized as of the start of this year, 2019. So you can see one outperforming, one underperforming. This is the past week. So imagine it this way, selling your momentum and then covering your shorts in value. So this is why you get such a huge move and why it was such a big deal. This has been a very crowded, very popular trade, and all of a sudden everybody's heading for the exit at the same time. Throw these quant funds leverage on top of that, and it just magnifies their losses. So we go from kind of a snowball to an avalanche. What many traders may have seen on the surface was an outperformance of small caps, IWM, versus technology. So this is the week heading into the week. Here's Monday. You can see they're kind of tracking together like normal. Usually we see little changes in relative performance like this over here. This is an explosion. So this really happened on Monday and Tuesday. Took a little bit of a break on Wednesday and Thursday. So if we look at just Friday, IWM, technology, or QQQ, open up, open down. And what could have triggered this? So when we broke out over this 29.44, this was a big stop run and shakeout all across the market, not just in stocks or the S&P 500, but also in treasuries, especially in treasuries. So let's look at the 30-year yield. This is a daily chart. Let me just show you weekly. This is this week. That is a lot of positions getting hit at the same time. Now on a 30-minute chart, it looks to me like when the market opened Monday, and the 30-year yield was above 2.09%. That was a trigger. You can see everything just accelerate from there. And Monday morning, right just minutes after the open, is when it really picked up. What I'm going to do is run through a few sectors that really moved a lot this week because of that. So first, I have the S&P 500 here. This is just a daily chart of the S&P 500. It's for reference to compare. And then this is a relative strength indicator of whatever sector I pull up versus the S&P 500. So right now we're looking at the materials sector. You could see very weak relative performance versus the S&P 500 been trending down. Here's the energy sector. You can see really weak relative performance. Here's that spike this week moving into value or the most beaten up sectors. Here's the financial sector. You can see it has been underperforming versus the S&P 500. There's that spike this week. Or banks, they were another big beneficiary. Relative weakness. Here's that spike this week. And some of the sectors that have been acting really well that were in this growth side, let's take a look at the technology sector. Versus the S&P on a relative strength basis, technology has been very good compared to what we just saw. For a couple of months I've been talking about defensive sectors. They fell into this category too. So something like real estate that's been making new highs, record new highs for a long time, most of this year, why the S&P didn't. Look at the relative strength. Here is that unwind this week. Or on the index level, again, S&P 500, but now this is small caps relative strength against the NASDAQ or QQQ. There's the break this week. And what you might notice with a lot of these sectors is the move this week, as big as it was, they are kind of reverting to a downtrend line, reverting to the mean. So let me show this from a little different perspective. Big outperformance by small caps, But from a broader perspective, it's basically just a reversion back to the mean. To put a face on this in terms of sectors, here's the energy sector. So just a month ago, coming into September, the energy sector was the first and only S&P sector of the 11 to go red for the year. Here it is, red for the year. It was down 3% coming into September. So this is an example of a beaten up sector, or what you might consider a value factor. Another one of the really bad performing ones that I've been talking about for a couple months is the retail sector. So it came into September down 7% for 2019. You can see right here. So here is value, or the most beaten up areas being bought. So what does it mean for the broader market? It means a lot to these hedge funds that got crushed. But from a practical effect, it's a dollar for dollar portfolio rebalancing. Sell the best performing factors, buy the worst performing or the cheapest, the value. These quant quakes don't happen that often. They're pretty rare, and this was a huge one, biggest one in the last decade. They do tend to happen at market inflection points. Here's the SPY back to 2000. Here's a quant quake in December of 2000. You might recognize that on the NASDAQ as the tech bubble top. The event that actually gave them the name was back here in 2007. That's the market top. This is the financial crisis. Another one here after Lehman failed, and another one here right at the bottom as we go into this 10-year bull market. Some of the quant funds running at the time was Goldman Sachs, their Global Equity Opportunities Fund, that lost 30% in a week. At the time, Jim Simmons from Renaissance Capital said that the effect for their fund was comparable to the market crash of 1987 or the junk bond crisis of 1990. And then here's another big quant quake, a market neutral unwind. So on the week, S&P 500 up just a little bit under 1%. It has retraced all that it lost over here in August, and it's less than 1% off this record high. So the S&P ended up Thursday with a bearish shooting star, doji star, and on Friday with a very small bearish engulfing candle. It was a very small move, less than 0.1%. Here you get a look at the week. Here's a nice trend line running up to about 29.95. And here's how we ended Thursday, Friday. The Dow gained 1.6% on the week, a couple of doji stars Thursday, Friday. NASDAQ was the worst performing of the major averages, only up 0.5%. So shooting star on Thursday and down here on Friday. Notice this big flag is still in effect, and QQQ is hitting resistance right at the top of that. And coming into the week early, sell-off, bear flag, sell-off, bear flag, came out of that, and again hitting resistance up at this upper trend line of this larger flag pattern. Small caps, or IWM, put in a little star. You can see this huge outperformance over here. This is where they really benefited from that rotation and a major short squeeze. And then we ended Friday with something like a bearish shooting star. This was small caps' best week since December 2016, and also it was the biggest short squeeze this week since 2016 when Trump got elected. So you can see the July trend, the failed breakout right at this trend line. Here's the sell-off, here's the consolidation, here's this past week, again moving up towards this trend line. Here's the S&P since the start of September. This is my most shorted index in white. Look at this massive squeeze coming into this week, the 9th here. Small caps got the most benefit of this. Here's the same short squeeze index, and here is IWM, so you can see they got a lot of benefit out of that. So the rotation had a huge effect, and then the short squeeze that was a result of the rotation had a huge effect, all benefiting small caps. I'm just going to touch on a few sectors, some of the best and worst performing that were influenced by this entire rotation short squeeze. So here is the energy sector. Here it was sliding down into July and trending down into August. This is that last week. So it is hitting a trend line right here. And here's a closer look at that trend line from about July. And then we have this larger trend line here that comes from this October high. The financial sector was one of the best performing, up 3.8% for the week. It benefited a lot from that rotation, from growth into value. It also benefited from the huge move up in yields and the curve steepening. And it was really the banks that drove that. Here's the KBW Bank Index, up 7.75% on the week. And notice where it's coming, this 103 level. I talked about it back in July. This is a really important level that it has met resistance at. The technology sector ended the week down almost 0.5%, and that resistance becomes very clear. Here we are going into the week. Here we are at the end of the week meeting resistance. Here on a 5-minute chart, this is the open Monday, resistance, sell-off, bear flag, measured move target hit, bear flag, sell-off, another bear flag, and it came out of that. So what you might notice is that here on Monday and Tuesday, that rotation out of growth and into value had a big impact. And then we saw it again Friday morning as yields went up after the retail sales report. So the good retail sales report had a negative effect on technology by way of that rotation being started up again. So it ended the week with this descending triangle. The technology sector looks a lot like the momentum ETF. Same large flag-like consolidation, and here's this week, opening with resistance at the top of the flag. Note how much it gets creamed on Monday. Little small flag and another measured move down to the bottom of that channel, and we have something like a bear flag consolidating at the bottom of this channel. Volatility is down on the week, and VIX is under 15. The trend line here is around 13. So as VIX is under 15, stocks are going to act a little bit more bullish. There's less volatility to move everything around. But while VIX was down 8.5%, VVIX, the volatility of VIX, was up almost 5%. Here's VVIX holding this bullish trend. VVIX falls below 90. It's much more bullish environment for stocks. Volatility has died down. Stocks can trend better. If it moves over 100, you get into the same nasty zone that we were in all of August. Much more volatile, big swings. You don't see that bullish trending in that environment. And if it goes into this 110 to 115 range, that is a major escalation. It's like put on your crash helmet, get it under the desk, start rocking back and forth and mumbling incoherently. Another area of relative strength in volatility was the Russell 2000's volatility index. It was only down 3%. It did not come down to this July low, while IWM is up here at this July high. So relative strength in Russell 2000's volatility gauge, a little unusual too. Okay, so wrapping this up, putting a bow on it, here is the 1-minute 3C chart for SPY. This is the start of September the 3rd. So this is this week, not great confirmation at all in SPY, but what offset it was the strength in small caps. Here you can see solid confirmation all through this week until Friday. And Friday morning we saw at first a little bit of a negative divergence before the open in Russell 2000 futures. From a trend perspective, it really didn't change much on the 5-minute charts. Really good confirmation into June, negatively divergent into July. Here's the range. So we came into this week with a little bit of a negative divergence, and it did see some good improvement early in the week and didn't do much else. But look at where 3C is now relative to where it was back here in July. SPY is at basically the same price. 3C is actually lower. That's a relative negative divergence. That's pretty much the same kind of thing that's been going on here for a couple of weeks. And let's take a look at IWM, since it was by far the best performer in terms of price percentage moves, but also on the 3C charts due to the squeezes and the rotation, all the money flowing in. Better confirmation than any of the other averages, but again, on a relative basis compared to where it was here in July, we do have a relative negative divergence. Okay, so wrapping all this up, the takeaway is the quants had a really massive effect on the market this week. NASDAQ underperformed, small caps outperform, and there's really no way of knowing whether that's done. If yields move higher, that could trigger another round of this entire rotation theme that we saw this week, and that might actually happen. Over the weekend, there was an attack on Saudi facilities, on their oil production facilities, and that's going to take about 50% of their production offline. So crude oil is going to spike Sunday night and Monday. That may send yields higher on an inflationary impulse, and that may actually have an effect on the FOMC Wednesday. So let's leave it off there. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I think there is a subscribe link in the bottom right hand corner. Again, please leave your comments, questions. If there's something you want to see covered in a future video, happy to do that. I want to thank my members for a lot of the charts you guys sent this week were fantastic. I really appreciate those. Really great insights. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great week ahead. I think it's going to be pretty crazy, so buckle up.